Welcome back. Last episode vibes, but we're going deeper on health truth.
We covered social media use, why supplements are often snake oil, and CPR basics.
The social media thing hit me. Don't look unless you're getting value.
It sounds so simple, then instantly you realize you've been doom scrolling.
Yeah, like valuable information is not what my feed is serving.
The distinction was passive consumption versus intentional learning, right?
But even learning can turn into obsessive checking of negatives.
He literally said, when in a healthy place, look with intention, spot the difference.
My intention is usually find one comment that validates my anxiety.
Bro, that's not intention, that's self-sabotage with good lighting.
And he tied it to that Harvard happiness study. Community use feels better than scrolling.
Which is basically therapy language, but applied to thumbs and algorithms.
I love that he doesn't pretend people are robots, though. He admits despair moments exist.
That line about being fragile and not looking, brutally practical.
Also, the check-in with yourself step, am I benefiting or am I getting wrecked?
That made me think, why do some people seek negative comments so aggressively?
Maybe because it feels like control, even when it's just emotional roulette.
And he framed negative comments as a threat to the mission, Community Health Center.
That part mattered. Social media wasn't a financial venture, it's a tool.
If your incentives are to help uninsured patients, negative comments aren't content.
Exactly. It's like your feed stops being a casino and becomes a megaphone.
Then we pivot to supplements and it's like gray area, snake oil, nuance.
I'm glad he said one catch-all answer is impossible because it is nuance-heavy.
His core claim was most supplemental vitamins aren't necessary and the evidence is weak.
Missing benefit plus possible harms is the least sexy medical marketing.
And he warned about trade-offs, side effects, drug interactions, too much of healthy stuff.
Antioxidants. The word alone sounds like it should come with a cape.
He basically said, antioxidants are marketed as universally good, but labels don't tell the full story.
The FDA regulation angle was spicy. Supplements aren't regulated like real meds.
And the 5 to 10x what's on the label thing is actually terrifying.
I loved the you can bottle a miracle formula and sell it hypothetical.
Yeah, he's like, we could do it too, just don't make medical claims.
It's not that supplements are always evil. It's that the incentives reward promises.
And he stressed, harm can come from people skipping true treatments.
That's the part that makes supplements different from just wellness.
Right? When someone delays evidence-based care, the downside becomes huge.
The gut microbiome section was also a trap for me because I want it to be magic.
He was careful. Lots of truth, lots of interconnectedness, but manipulating it with pills isn't proven.
Probiotics feel like the buy hope now section of health retail.
He said correlational evidence exists, like fiber relates to better health outcomes.
Correlation. Yes. Causation. Please stop selling me a story.
And he called out the jump from we see changes to therefore fix this condition.
That's always the marketing move. We don't know, but we can still sell.
He also said tests on the market are premature. Microbiome profiling doesn't come with clear action steps.
Fun data, unclear decisions. That should be a medical warning label.
He even extended it to genetic tests. Unless you're working with specialists, hype outruns evidence.
But he's not anti-science. He gave examples where speeding up is justified, like emergencies.
Like an emergency use authorization. Trade-offs with explicit reasoning, not vibes.
That's the difference. Proven used responsibly versus proven used like a spell.
He absolutely roasted Gary Brios-style confidence about Himalayan salt headaches.
Because headaches have endless causes. Concussion, stress, hormones, tumors. You can't reduce it to salt.
He emphasized nuance as the honesty of science and confidence as the trap for trust.
And he addressed the doctors were wrong before problem. How do you navigate changing guidance?
He basically said, do the work and understand why positions changed, not just flip to cynicism.
That's hard, though, because people use one fraud story to burn the whole system.
He compared it to calling out mistakes, but still recognizing the field learns and self-corrects.
If science is corrupt, why do they keep calling their own failures out? Is such a clean jab.
I like the point that open to be transparent is often better than 100% confident.
Meanwhile, the internet rewards the loudest certainty, like it's a vitamin.
Then it got real with the CPR segment. No more theoretical health debates.
The whole CPR buys time explanation was so clear, and it changed my mental model.
So the goal isn't revive them instantly, it's circulating residual oxygen until responders arrive.
And he said the chest compressions should be about 2 inches deep. People don't push nearly enough.
Plus, hands-only CPR if they're pulseless and not breathing after calling for help.
The blue shirt, pink hat, call 911 line is painfully accurate social psychology.
Everyone assumes someone else will do it. Classic bystander effect in a crisis.
Nature really said teamwork, but only when it's convenient.
Also, he corrected the movie myth. If they're talking, they likely have a pulse, so don't start CPR.
And women getting CPR less often because people fear pushing between breasts. That's tragic.
He framed it as, if life can be saved, do it. Shame and fear shouldn't block action.
Then the emotional stuff. Hearing ICU alarms, the flashback memory, the grief processing.
That part about acknowledging others' grief coping differently was surprisingly grounded.
And the mom story. Angry at laughter in front of grieving families, then realizing doctors are also human.
That's the takeaway I keep circling. We want compassion, but we also need accuracy.
Final thought. The episode kept saying, no shortcuts, just intentional choices.
Exactly. Use social media with purpose, prioritize evidence, and learn skills like CPR.
Which is the most chaotic combination of wisdom and push 2 inches deep I've heard all year.
All right, that's it for this 2-episode run. Thanks for sticking with us.
If you learned even one practical thing, apply it, share it, and keep questioning. Welcome back. This episode finishes the run fast. Social media, supplements, and CPR reality checks.
We grilled the just take a pill mindset, then got uncomfortably practical about how CPR actually works.
I swear that CPR segment should be mandatory like traffic signals.
Mandatory, yes, but also the way they explained purpose, not miracles, was key.
The big shift was CPR buys time, not CPR brings you back.
And my brain kept fighting that movie version where people magically revive after 2 heroic pushes.
If the chest compressions don't happen, you don't get to be in the movie scene.
The call for help first, then start instruction was so clean, it almost felt unfair.
Honestly, why do we all default to help me someone else mode when it's actually wrong?
Because people freeze, like everyone assumes someone else called 911 and nobody does.
The hey you in the blue shirt call out is hilarious but also depressingly necessary.
It's like social choreography for emergencies: command, compress, repeat.
And the depth part, push 2 inches, that's when everyone's confidence collapses.
Yeah, because you want to be gentle, and gentle is basically the wrong setting.
They basically said, if you're afraid of damage, you'll underdo it and lose outcomes.
The body can't be more dead than dead, so your fear is the enemy.
Also, the women-specific point, movies really did that one dirty.
The fear of pushing between the breasts is so plausible, which is why it's dangerous.
It's wild how design of media becomes real-world failure modes.
That's the recurring theme across the whole episode, though. Misinformation becomes behavior.
Exactly, like social media looks helpful, but passive scrolling can make you worse.
The Waldinger point landed. Intent matters, usage matters, outcomes differ.
Don't look unless there's something valuable is basically the anti-doom scroll prescription.
But I like that they didn't moralize it. They said, check yourself. Am I benefiting or spiraling?
That line about looking during despair and realizing it's a bad time? Yeah,
We all do that, like searching for pain with extra steps.
The host framing was so practical. Use social media to learn and build community, not to consume negativity.
Community to learn from it sounds wholesome until you remember the comments section is feral.
Ferals need boundaries, bro. Just like meds and supplements need boundaries.
Speaking of meds, supplements got absolutely roasted, and honestly, I'm with them.
The core claim, most supplements aren't necessary and evidence is often missing or weak.
Plus, the harm isn't abstract. Side effects, interactions, wrong dosages, mislabeled ingredients.
The label drama, ingredients at 5 to 10 times what's listed, sounds like a compliance horror movie.
And people still treat it like natural equals safe, which is such a lazy shortcut.
I liked the antioxidants nuance too, because sounds healthy doesn't mean it behaves healthy.
Same with antioxidants being generally healthy, but sometimes too much becoming inflammatory. Nobody sells too much.
Exactly. The market prefers vibes, not trade-offs.
But I also appreciated the "I'm not calling everyone evil" part with supplements.
Like, yes, some people genuinely believe it, and intention can still produce bad outcomes.
That was basically the philosophy, evidence first, and be humble about what we don't know.
Gut microbiome got the same treatment. Correlations are interesting, but interventions aren't proven like people claim.
Prebiotics and probiotics might help is very different from "this fixes your condition."
People love jumping from less bad outcomes to miracle cure, like biology is a vending machine.
And the microbiome tests promising will tailor your diet without knowing what to do with the results.
That's the part that drives me nuts. Selling info before selling an evidence-based action plan.
Also, the animal study staircase explanation, mechanism to petri dish to animals to humans, is brutal and rare.
That's why "it works in theory" becomes "it works on everyone," and reality laughs.
The most controversial vibe was about experts not being confident, like disinformation influencers.
If you disagree because you said so versus "I'm open and I'll update," that contrast was sharp.
It's hard, because trust gets damaged when doctors change recommendations. Yet science changes with new data.
People hear "we were wrong" and translate it to fraud. That's not the same thing.
One is epistemic humility, the other is lying. And both can look similar emotionally.
And that's where the episode's tone mattered. Compassionate but not sloppy with facts.
The CPR story on a plane was also insane. Epinephrine in the emergency kit, huge needle, and they saved him.
No internet, over the Atlantic, so rough calculations, is the most real-world thing ever said on the internet.
And then turning that into policy, getting EpiPens on planes so it prevents repeat tragedies.
That's the real public health arc. Not just treating, but preventing the next person from getting scammed or dying.
The whole show felt like, stop looking for shortcuts, start practicing fundamentals.
Social media with intention, supplements with skepticism, and CPR with hands-only reality.
If we actually did those three things, the world would be calmer by default.
Calmer and probably fewer hospital waiting rooms yelling at the wrong people.
All right, final wrap for this 2-episode run. Thanks for sticking with us till the CPR depth math.
If you learned even one practical thing, apply it, share it, and keep questioning, because that's the only shortcut that's real.
Welcome back, and yeah, this episode goes full reality check mode.
Social media with intention, supplements with skepticism, and CPR, that's all fundamentals.
The wild part is how often the shortcut is really just a trap.
Like the internet will sell you a life plan in a single bottle label.
And Dr. Mike's stance is basically, if it's not proven, don't vibe.
Proven is doing so much heavy lifting in that conversation.
I love that he links social media behavior to mental health outcomes.
Not delete the app and become a monk, but use it with purpose.
Like the Harvard happiness angle, passive scrolling can sour you instantly.
But active usage, community, learning, self-improvement can flip the effect.
So the real advice is, Don't refresh your despair like it's a newsletter.
He also talked about that fragile moment before bed, checking anyway.
Yeah, when your brain is tired, it's basically a slot machine for doom.
He's saying, don't look unless you're extracting something valuable.
That's such a sane rule, and yet half the internet acts like it's impossible.
People treat attention like a right, not a choice.
Okay, then supplements. This was the spicy part for me.
Same, because it's always just take this, like biology is a subscription.
He draws a line. Supplemental vitamins are usually not necessary without a specific reason.
And the evidence for most supplements is missing or weak, which people conveniently ignore.
He made it sound almost insulting, like, we can't live on wishful chemistry.
Harm is always there. There's no side effect-free miracle jar.
Interactions, wrong dosages, even labels lying, like it's not FDA regulated the same way.
The label claim might be 1x and the actual ingredient could be 5x or 10x.
That's not a supplement. That's a roulette wheel with a nutrition facts panel.
And the antioxidant thing, he's like, sure, antioxidants can sound healthy, but the story is incomplete.
The too many B vitamins becomes pro-inflammatory point was low-key devastating.
The marketing never sells harmful when you overdo it because money.
He also said supplements can distract you from the boring things that actually work.
Sleep, exercise, fiber-rich foods. Grandma was basically on the evidence trail.
Grandma doesn't need a sponsor. She's still winning.
And then gut microbiome. This is where everyone gets excited and leaps ahead.
The distinction he makes is important. Correlation isn't the same as the pill fixes disease.
Fiber correlates with better outcomes, but prebiotic supplements aren't proven the same way.
People treat "we think it matters" like we know it works.
He even says manipulating the bugs hasn't been proven in most promised ways.
Yet somehow every feed becomes a gut reset commercial overnight.
And he's worried about selling certainty where there's uncertainty.
Which brings us to the Gary Brecka-style claims. Confidence without medical framing.
The pink Himalayan sea salt headache thing was such a perfect example.
Headaches can be stress, concussion, hormones, migraines, tumors, endless reasons.
You're low on salt is the kind of sentence that should come with a refund policy.
But the deeper point is trust. Science changes with new information, and conspiracy people weaponize that.
Yeah, they were wrong before becomes a blanket excuse to stop thinking.
I liked how he reframed it. Doctors who admit uncertainty and update are the ones you want.
Not the ones who talk like they're never wrong because they're never careful.
That also ties to supplements, right? Because the miracle formula logic is basically the same genre.
Depression immunity support is the marketing brain's favorite loophole.
Buzzwords. Nature, earth, simple. Then the evidence disappears.
The FDA line decides whether truth matters for sales copy.
Now pivot, CPR. This section felt like, finally, practical life skills.
Because he kept it grounded. Chest compressions, call for help, no magic breathing cosplay.
People think CPR brings someone back. He corrected that hard.
Purpose is buying time, circulating residual oxygen until advanced care arrives.
And then the call 911 first point, because you can't freeze while thinking.
The fastest path to damage is hesitation and confusion.
The depth math was surprisingly intense. 2 inches, about 5 centimeters.
The click training device? That's basically cheating for confident adults.
And he addressed fear. People push too shallow because movies lied to them.
Also, he pointed out women often get less bystander CPR due to hesitation about anatomy.
That's infuriating, because correct compressions can save lives regardless.
Hands-only CPR when pulseless and not breathing. Stop overthinking the breathing part.
And he said, if someone is talking or moving, they probably have a pulse.
So CPR mode is for cardiac arrest, not the anxiety symptom demo.
The whole conversation made me realize how much health literacy is actually training under pressure.
And he told that flight story with anaphylaxis, no EpiPen but epinephrine in the kit.
That's the kind of documentation turns into policy chain reaction you never see coming.
Then it led to EpiPens on planes, like public health through one story.
This is why social media can be good when it serves prevention, not panic.
Exactly. Intent matters, and so does evidence.
Okay, last layer. His personal stuff. Loneliness, anxiety, rumination, compassion.
He basically admitted doctors aren't immune to cognitive distortions.
The what if people think I'm unhealthy catastrophizing is so relatable.
Even the clinically trained mind still panics like a human.
All right, final wrap for this 2-episode run. Thanks for sticking with us through the supplement skepticism and CPR depth math.
If you learned even one practical thing, apply it, share it, and keep questioning, because that's the only shortcut that's real.
Welcome back. This episode finishes the Dr. Mike deep dive.
We talk social media intent, then supplements and gut hype, and end with real CPR basics.
The social media part was wild. He keeps repeating, don't look unless it's valuable.
That's such a simple rule, but it cuts through the chaos immediately.
Wait, he was basically like, negative comments are a threat to your mission?
Yeah, like your algorithm becomes a workplace hazard.
And he brings in Waldinger, passive doom scrolling versus active community building.
Passive consumption can be disheartening. Intention flips the whole effect.
Okay, but I want to push back. Can intention really override dopamine trap physics?
You're asking if mindfulness beats feed design. Great question, wrong fight.
So we're agreeing the rule helps, but it's not a force field.
Exactly. He's not pretending the environment is neutral.
I liked his self-check. Am I benefiting, or is this destructive?
That's basically CBT for your thumb.
CBT for your thumb is now my diagnosis for doom scrolling.
Thumb sucking, but with engagement metrics.
Then he goes into supplements, not necessary most of the time, felt like a punchline until it wasn't.
The key line for me, evidence missing and even harm, is a trade-off people ignore.
And the marketing is so sneaky. Antioxidants are generally healthy, so people assume everything else is too.
Generally is doing a lot of unpaid labor there.
He also said supplements can have side effects and interactions with meds. Normal medicine reality.
And unlike regulated treatments, supplements can be mislabeled and under-regulated.
That 5 to takes what's on the label thing, bro, that's not a rounding error.
Yeah, and it's terrifying because people treat it like grocery shopping.
The way he mimicked miracle formula with buzzwords was hilarious and also depressing.
Depression immunity support. Sounds like a superhero slogan.
But I appreciated he wouldn't label everyone evil. Some people genuinely think they work.
Belief can be sincere and still produce bad outcomes if the evidence isn't there.
He transitions to gut microbiome like, there's truth, but promises are leaps.
Correlation is not causation. Fiber correlates with better health outcomes, but pills aren't proven equivalents.
And he keeps hammering that we don't know what to do with microbiome test results yet.
Here's your gut ecosystem report, and then it's basically astrology with stool.
Stool astrology is crazy accurate as a critique.
The hype speeds up selling before the evidence is ready. That part feels consistent across health markets.
And he defines the science problem. Things can be uncertain without being disproven.
That discussion about you can't disprove juice in the cup helps you live forever without a study was interesting.
It's annoying because it exposes how confident misinformation can sound.
Confidence without nuance is exactly what erodes trust in the first place.
I want to call out the deeper point. Science depends, but audiences crave certainty.
And that mismatch creates openings for salt for headache style fixes.
Salt for headaches is the hill he died on, because it's so confidently wrong.
The point isn't that salt has no effect, it's that headaches have endless causes.
Right. He uses that to show why one missing nutrient narratives are dangerously seductive.
And then he folds into trust. Doctors changing minds isn't automatically betrayal.
That trust navigation segment was solid. do the work to understand why recommendations changed.
If you want one shortcut, it's ask what evidence changed, not burn the field.
Meanwhile, people do the one fraud proves all move like that's logic class.
Fraud and failures happen, yes, but throwing away entire systems costs real lives.
The Tylenol example was clever. Side effects exist across the board, but emotion controls outrage.
If something isn't emotionally triggering, people accept it. If it is, they panic.
Healthcare is basically narrative volume determines public reaction.
And animal studies to human jumps, he basically said the failure rate is astronomical.
99% fails across steps, so mechanistic plausibility isn't destiny.
If it were deterministic, biotech would be boring and profitable forever.
Then he goes mega practical. Phones out of schools as a policy lever for social media harm.
I agree in spirit, but I'm curious how he'd handle remote learning trade-offs.
Fair. But the core is still restrict high-risk exposure with minimal benefit for kids.
And there's the personal boundaries point. Showing relationships can distract patients, and it can derail your audience too.
He learned it the hard way, which is basically every lesson in the book.
Also, he describes anxiety through rumination, replaying conversations and catastrophizing health judgments.
That sounded less like I'm anxious and more like an engine that keeps running after hours.
Doctors aren't robots, they're just trained humans with better vocabulary for stress.
Then we hit ICU reality, CPR decisions, comfort versus treatment, and helplessness draining you at night.
The administrative load part also landed. Medicine isn't just bedside heroics.
And his public health through social media story, anaphylaxis on a flight, no EpiPen, uses epinephrine anyway.
Then he pushes for EpiPens on planes, like policy change coming from one viral moment.
That's the difference between content and intervention, honestly.
Exactly, outcomes first, views second.
And then we go all the way to CPR instruction with baby Mike. Let's do this.
Okay, the chest compression math was my favorite kind of nerding.
He explained CPR's purpose. You're buying time for advanced help, not resurrecting instantly.
That's why the first step is calling for help, then immediately start compressions without delay.
I love that he emphasized fast as possible chest compressions, even if you're scared.
Scared people still save lives by being faster than fear.
He said push hard and fast between the pecs and aim for about 2 inches deep.
The "you can't just lightly press" message, because people underestimate how much force is needed.
And the click depth indicator on the training device, he made it feel real, not theoretical.
Also, hands-only CPR if the person is pulseless and not breathing. No breathing part in that basic step.
He also called out the movie myth. CPR doesn't bring them back like in films.
Movies kill learning because real CPR is unglamorous, forceful, and time-sensitive.
The gender piece was important too. Women less likely to receive CPR due to fear of compression between breasts.
And he flipped it back to life or death priorities. Depth and speed matter more than discomfort.
Then he gets into how long they might do CPR depending on age and situation, double digits for young patients.
That nuance is heavy because family decisions are emotional and not always yes, no.
The end tradition question. If you could redo a pivotal moment, he chose loneliness and not reaching out after losing his mom.
That was the emotional bookend after all the practical health talk.
All right, final wrap for this 2-episode run. Thank you for sticking with us through supplement skepticism and CPR depth math.
If you learned even one practical thing, apply it, share it, and keep questioning, because that's the only shortcut that's real.
We'll see you next season. Go be intentional with your feeds and prepared with your knowledge.
And please, if you can, take a CPR class. Future you will thank you hard.
Welcome back. This is the final episode of our 2-episode Dr. Mike Run.
We zoomed in on social media use, the supplement hype problem, and then real CPR basics.
The social media part felt like permission to be intentional, not abstinent.
Yeah, like, don't look unless you're getting something valuable. That's oddly actionable.
But the big question is, how do you catch yourself when you're spiraling?
Exactly. He basically said check your motive because motives are doing the damage.
That motive meter should be built into every app, honestly.
Apple would charge $19.99 a month and call it Mindfulness Plus.
Okay, but Waldinger angle was stronger. Passive scrolling can make you unhappier.
And active communities can flip it positive, like learning instead of consuming.
I like that because it doesn't demonize the tool. It demonizes the behavior.
Still, the just don't look at negative comments thing. Easy to say, hard to do.
Especially when you're fragile, which he basically admitted he was during despair moments.
That don't check your phone one last time before bed hit me.
Because that's exactly when your brain starts negotiating with chaos.
And then the whole episode pivots into shortcuts are tempting, which ties everything together.
Supplements. The way he said, sold as shortcuts, promising shortcuts, felt like a whole thesis.
And he was blunt. Most supplements aren't necessary and evidence is missing for most people.
Unless you have a specific reason, which is doctor speak for stop buying powders.
The funniest part was the hypothetical miracle formula with buzzwords like immunity support.
Natural from the earth, like the FDA, is just out for coffee.
But he also didn't just say it's fake, he said there can be side effects and interactions.
The antioxidant thing, how too much can backfire, that was a good reminder that healthy isn't a vibe.
Yeah, and label accuracy issues. Consumer Report style testing catching mismatches.
5 to 10 times what's on the label? That's not a rounding error, that's roulette.
Exactly, and people think I'll just take it because it feels non-medical.
I also liked that he wouldn't fully ban multivitamins. He said he wouldn't discourage if someone did.
That nuance matters because blanket scolding makes people tune out.
Still, the opportunity cost argument is brutal. Money and attention away from things that work.
Which he kept tying back to boring stuff. Sleep, fiber, not smoking, not drinking like it's a hobby.
The thing that makes health advice so boring is that it works.
And then gut microbiome. He basically said correlation isn't the same as pill repairing your gut.
Like fiber correlates with better health, but prebiotic supplement does the same, is not proven.
He was worried about people making huge jumps from preliminary science to life-changing claims.
We're promising something uncertain, which is the exact opposite of what patients deserve.
And he called out the trust problem. When confidence is high but evidence is fuzzy.
The Himalayan sea salt headaches example was savage, like there are endless causes of headaches.
That's the thing about simplistic causality. It's seductively confident.
But he also conceded the science evolves, so we were wrong before doesn't automatically mean never trust again.
The way he framed it, you have to ask why they changed and whether the new info actually shifts understanding.
That's why he talked about evidence accumulation instead of one scandal as a reason to burn the whole field.
And he basically said, if there's fraud, sure, investigate, but don't generalize from one case to everything.
Otherwise, your worldview becomes one villain movie, therefore, every studio is evil.
Yep, and he flipped it. Medicine studies its failures constantly, even if people only hear about failures they like.
Then the episode went from don't be fooled to be prepared to save someone with CPR.
The CPR purpose explanation, CPR buys time, it doesn't magically revive, was such a correction.
And the detail that chest compressions keep oxygen circulating through the residual oxygen was actually intuitive.
Plus the timing. Chest compressions fast, help arriving, advanced life support afterwards.
The top of the rib cage confusion is real. Thankfully, he kept saying center of the chest between the pecs.
But the pressure part, 2 inches deep, that sounds terrifying until you remember it's about pushing the heart.
He made it clear people underpush because fear, and outcomes worsen for that reason.
Also the gender point, women less likely to receive CPR because people fear pushing, was uncomfortable but important.
Movies lied to us again. CPR isn't a revival spell, it's emergency circulation math.
And the call 911 and then start instruction, like assign tasks so nobody freezes because everyone assumes someone else acted.
That someone screaming for help and nobody calls story is exactly why protocols matter.
I also appreciated the emotional honesty, family decisions, ICU helplessness, those alarms sticking in memory.
Yeah, it wasn't just technique, it was the human cost behind those conversations.
And the ending question about changing one pivotal moment. He chose loneliness and not reaching out after losing his mom.
Which ties the whole series together, honestly. Health is biology, but also behavior, community, and support.
All right, final outro then. Thanks for hanging with us for this 2-episode run.
If you learned even one practical thing, apply it today. Your future self will feel it.
And please take a CPR class. It's a real skill, not a shortcut.
Welcome back, yeah. This is the final episode of The Run.
We covered how to use social media intentionally, why most supplements are overpriced guesses, and then real CPR mechanics.
And the meta theme was no shortcuts, like even our attention has to be earned.
The social media part hit me because it wasn't delete everything. It was look with purpose.
But man, intention is hard when your brain automatically wants the dopamine and drama.
Exactly, he basically admitted he's fragile at night, so he doesn't check one last time.
That Harvard happiness usage framing was actually useful. Passive consumption versus community learning.
And it made the argument tangible, like, you can still be on it, but not in the doom-scrolling seat.
The funniest part was how casually he said negative comments are a threat to his mission.
That's so real, though. Your system has to protect the mission, not just your feelings.
I also liked how he questioned why people seek the negative stuff in the first place.
Yeah, because if you're always mining the worst comment, maybe you're not doing health, you're doing self-harm.
Okay, now supplements. He went full scalpel. Vitamins are different from supplements mostly.
The punchline was, evidence for most supplements is missing, and the harms are real trade-offs.
I appreciated that he didn't demonize the idea. He kept saying nuance, like a clinician.
The miracle formula bit was basically buzzwords, no regulation, and label math nobody verifies.
The 5 to 10x ingredients on labels example, yeah, that's how you accidentally take something toxic.
And interactions with medications, people forget supplements can be pharmacology too.
I'm still tempted sometimes because it feels comforting. Take powder, get control back.
But he kept tying it back to opportunity cost, money and attention away from what works.
Nothing sexy was my favorite phrase, like fiber, sleep, and exercise are the boring gods.
The gut microbiome section was a masterclass in correlation isn't causation.
He basically said, we know fiber helps health, but we don't know that a probiotic pill fixes outcomes.
And the tests are early, the promises outrun evidence, and hype becomes product velocity.
Which is such a pattern. A mechanism sounds plausible. Then the human results ghost you.
He also made a trust argument that felt balanced. Medicine should learn, own failures, and improve.
Like it happens in healthcare, but using one scandal to reject the whole field is a losing move.
Also, his Tylenol doesn't trigger outrage example. Emotional salience really drives what we believe.
Facts don't go viral as easily as fear. That's the whole game.
Then we went from biology to actual survival skill. CPR reality checks, hands only, call for help first.
The CPR buys time framing is underrated. People think it magically restarts life.
And the detail, center of the chest, hard and fast, about 2 inches deep, seriously not gentle.
The part about women getting worse outcomes because people hesitate with fear of pushing, that's infuriating.
Yeah, it's not about aesthetics, it's about compressing the heart and circulating residual oxygen.
A click device training detail made me realize how hard it is to judge depth without coaching.
And the emotional layer, alarms, family conversations, helplessness, he didn't sanitize it.
That's why the skill matters. It's technical, but it's also human under pressure.
Also, the longevity of the story on YouTube turned into policy change. EpiPens on planes.
Which loops us back. Community use of information can literally prevent deaths.
Exactly. Social media isn't automatically toxic. It depends on how you deploy it.
And the last question, choosing connection after his mum. Man, that's the final health move.
Loneliness is a health risk, and support is a preventative strategy too.
All right, we made it through 2 episodes, so thanks for hanging in with us.
If you learned one practical thing, do it today. Book the CPR class, then stop chasing shortcuts.
And yeah, use your attention like medicine, carefully, intentionally, and with compassion.
We'll see you in the next series, relaxed, grounded, and slightly more evidence-minded.